It's horrible. That's genetically, you have low lateness. I have the other problem is even rarer than that. Actually in my clinic, a woman who goes out, but it flares out at the knee. And so she runs like this. Yeah. That's even worse.
But you see some really fast people who have slightly bowed legs, and that's coincidence. That isn't. It's not causal. It's
No. I figured out I could take any athlete, an NFL player, and I could guess their 40 speed within one tenth of a second.
30%.
Because what happens is it all starts at the pelvis. And women usually will never run as fast as men, because to have these muscles, the iliopsoas muscles to fire, it has to be the more rounder the cylinder, the more symmetrical the fire. And women, because of childbirth, will have more of an elongated, like a kidney shaped, wider hip, so their angle of firing is off. So if I have an athlete, wide receivers, cornerbacks, and a few running backs. Running backs not so much, but a wide receiver and a cornerback, which is speed. You'll see a very round waist. And what happens is their legs look a little bowed because they are slightly different in an angle. And that angle, what happens is they have difficulty externally rotating. So what they'll do is they'll actually look a little pigeon-toed.
Yeah.
But that's because of the hip.
Oh, so it's not so much the...
No. And so what people think, well, if you want to run fast, you should be pigeon-toed like this athlete. No. If you're pigeon-toed and you're angled out, you're just, it's like putting a brake on. So if the pelvis is rounded and narrow, and then you look at how the femur, the whole leg moves in. If it turns all the way down, flat, and then you have speed. You have 4-3, 4-4 speed. Women usually have that ability, but because they're angled way out, it's almost a false internal rotation. So there's variations within men and women. But the key thing is not the bow-legged, it's the roundness of the pelvis is the key, and from that is the angle of the femur and how the ankle rotates. But the whole muscle there for speed is the iliopsoas.
Which is the one you're about to
do
on down here?
No, just what I want you to do is...
Tell me what you want me to do then.
Then I'll tell you what I'm going to do. You don't have to take your clothes off.
Okay.
And I'm not going to wear gloves.
Good.
That's
That's the best news I've had in a while.
What I want you to do is just go in this corner and just lay down.
Ooh.
I'm not sure I'm going to do
I'll just do one. You'll see the difference. Just lay down. All I need is one leg. No, but you got to put all your weight on. That's the only
This is
problem
what you
I
get
have.
for asking questions.
All right, let's do this one. Take this one.
Oops, sorry.
All right.
Make sure you get this on video.
I still have it on video.
So just what I want you to do is just straddle this and then lay down, and then I want you to just toe touch your feet. I look like that the other day. Did they all see it?
Like this?
Yeah. Turn your head to the right and just relax. Cough.
Cough 3 times.
All right, now relax your buttocks. Take a
It's
deep
hard
breath.
for me to relax. I'm just
Take a
gonna
deep breath. Close your eyes so you don't see it. Take a deep breath and breathe out. Let me hear you breathe out because I got to lift it up and breathe out. All right, again.
Relax your head down.
Does it make any difference
There
if
you
you've been
go.
drunk for 3 days?
Take a deep breath. Breathe out. Again. 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 Again.
I'm sure glad I didn't volunteer for this.
Walk on that. Tell me the difference.
Would you call that active release?
It can be active assist.
That walk on tense.
Do you feel a lightness in your walk? On the
A little
left?
lightheaded.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
Feels
pretty,
different.
it's pretty profound. One side feels heavy though, doesn't it?
Yeah,
And one side feels very light.
interesting.
But see how it's stretched out your iliopsoas.
I promise you that.
Never. Hey, Kay,
Is he gonna
I'm
be
sure
locked
glad
up?
you didn't volunteer.
Yeah, yes, I gotta do the other side.
Oops.
But University of
I'm sorry,
Tennessee
I thought
would
I
fly
handed
me
that to
out
you.
before their games, or if they're playing in Florida, they used to call me out.
He's a Florida fan.
You can stop there. It didn't do much good.
No, this was in the early 203, 204, when Fulmer was there.
They were a little better.
Yeah. That was before Tebow, because then Fulmer had left and I couldn't travel as much. But anyway, what I wanted him to experience is, if that muscle is stretched or being relaxed, you can walk probably further with this leg than you can. This one feels heavy, but you're using your quads.
So, all right, so let me ask you this. Typical human evolution, why hasn't evolution changed that, or over time, what's not, why is that muscle designed in such a way, or what are we not doing that you understand my question, I guess?
The question is, the muscles use right. The problem is because of our sedentary. In life, if we were
So if you're just more active, that's gonna stretch over time,
You're gonna
sitting
stretch.
and that kind of stuff.
sitting sedentary position in the 90-degree angle, if you're not using that muscle and stretching, it'll just tighten up.
So how would you set up how would you recommend setting up an office desk that you're gonna sit in? Basically on a mouse?
You stand.
In the 1980s and 90s, there were a tremendous amount of studies. They measured it to the degree. Mark was working for a company with posture, and we were looking at all the literature. There's a 155-degree angle, and the question is pertinent to the bike, because if you can get the right angle, the person can sit without back pain and without discomfort, and then put that position and put it in a recumbent position, then you have the most comfortable bike. And I still have all that literature from what he was doing in posture. But that's the key, is positioning the spine angle, and especially if you're using those leg muscles, is to avoid the 90-90 by using the iliopsoas, because then if the iliopsoas is in the proper length, everything feels loose. I didn't do anything to your quads, but your quads feel loose.
It feels different, I can tell you that. I'm trying to determine whether that's,
He's sober enough from the alcohol.
He hadn't exercised in a long time, too.
Yeah.
So-
No, but it doesn't matter, because and the stretch is good for about 6 to 8 months. Because people ask me, the athletes, when they come back, and I said 6 to 8 months, because your body will tighten that up from sedentary positions.
So do we need recumbent office chairs? We just sit like in cruisers that are next?
Now, what they did is they took out of your recumbent position, you turned it all the way forward, so they were sitting more forward, and then they had all these things with your knees
knee
bent,
lift,
to keep the spine angle at 155 degrees.
Makes my knees.
That's why the cavemen squatted. That's sad, I guess.
Chinese still do.
Yeah?
But the key there is just all the spine angle of the recumbent to make it comfortable so your back muscles are not they're not in spasm. And if you could stay there and keep your spine angle so your knees don't go to 90-90, you could pedal longer, and I think it's a home run.
Hey, Doc, Kay has told a number of her friends about your experience with your children. What